Welcome back, viewers. This is WION World is One. I'm Shivan Chandna. Let's get started with speed news. The Indian Army has shown debris of Pakistan-launched missiles that were intercepted and taken down by Indian air defense systems in Punjab's Amritsar. The missiles were intercepted after Pakistan responded to Operation Sindoor by India in the aftermath of the Pahalgam attack. The cessation of hostilities was agreed upon by India and Pakistan on the 12th of May after days of cross-border shelling and drone attacks by Pakistan. As crackdown on terror continues by the Indian Army and the J&K police across the valley, 2 terrorist associates have been arrested in a joint operation in DK-Pora area of Shopian. Security forces recovered 2 pistols, 4 hand grenades, 43 live rounds and other incriminating materials from the possession of the terror associates. An FIR has been registered and further investigation is underway. The Jammu and Kashmir administration has announced that all recognized government and private schools in the Jammu division that have not yet reopened will resume operations today. The decision follows an earlier order issued on the 13th of May, which allowed the partial reopening of schools in 5 districts from 15th. Institutions located near the international border and line of control had remained shut due to security concerns and amid tensions with Pakistan. The Uttar Pradesh anti-terrorism squad have arrested a suspected Pakistani spy who had been smuggling goods across the India-Pakistan border. The suspected spy, identified as Shehzad, had been allegedly working for the Pakistani intelligence agency. According to the UP Police Anti-Terrorism Squad, Shehzad, who hails from Muradabad, allegedly shared confidential information related to India's security with the agents of ISI. Israel has begun a broad ground operation in the Gaza Strip as part of Operation Gideon's Chariots. The Israeli Defense Forces on Sunday announced that these ground operations are part of the opening phase of a new major offensive. And this is as per Palestinian officials who reported more than 100 people killed over the past 24 hours in Israeli airstrikes. Israel's military has said the expansion of its campaigns aimed at achieving all the war's objectives, including releasing hostages and the defeat of Hamas. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has approved the immediate resumption of humanitarian aid into Gaza. This is during a security cabinet meeting which was held on Sunday. The Prime Minister's office said it is being done at the recommendation of the IDF and that Israel will allow the entry of only a basic quantity of food for the population in the Gaza Strip in order to prevent the development of a hunger crisis. The move comes amid increasing international pressure on Israel to allow humanitarian aid access in the region. Portugal's incumbent centre-right Democratic Alliance, AD, has won the country's 3rd general election in 3 years with a majority of seats. However, it is falling short of a ruling parliamentary parliamentary majority yet again due to a deep political deadlock within the party. Sunday's ballot was called just 1 year into the centre-right minority government's term after Montenegro failed to win a vote of confidence in parliament in March. Romania's centrist Bucharest mayor Nicolae Dan has won the country's presidential election. The victory of Nicolae Dan comes as a shock upset over a hard-right nationalist rival who had pledged to put Romania on a path inspired by US President Donald Trump's politics. Nicolae Dan has vowed to maintain Romanian support for Ukraine. Donald Trump's sweeping tax cut bill has won approval from a key congressional committee to advance towards possible passage in the House of Representatives later this week. The approval comes after the bill was stalled for days by Republican infighting over spending cuts to the Medicaid healthcare program for lower-income Americans and the repeal of green energy tax credits. The FBI said it identified a suspect connected to a bombing near a fertility clinic in Palm Springs, California, adding that the suspect held nihilistic ideations. The suspect has been identified as 25-year-old Guy Edward Bartkus. A bomb detonated recently on Saturday near a car parked outside a fertility clinic in California, which was operated by American Reproductive Center. One person was killed and at least 4 were injured. It is believed that the one who was killed is the suspect himself, Bartkus. The IMF has reportedly put 11 new conditions for Pakistan to unlock the next tranche of its bailout program. Among the conditions imposed include passing a $17.6 trillion federal budget through Parliament, raising electricity bill surcharges for debt servicing, and easing restrictions on importing used cars older than 3 years. The IMF disbursed aid to Pakistan on the 9th of May after the completion of the first review of Pakistan's 37-month $7 billion bailout, approved in September 2024. In news from Somalia, at least 13 people were killed and 21 were wounded after a deadly suicide attack at a military recruitment center in Mogadishu. Recounting the incident, eyewitnesses said a suicide bomber targeted a queue of young recruits at the Damanyo military base in the Somali capital. Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab extremist group that has been fighting the Somali government has taken responsibility. Telangana police have arrested 21 Maoists, including high-ranking members in Mulugu district. Huge cache of arms and ammunition recovered from the Maoists, which includes 3 INSAS rifles and 4 SLR rifles and other weapons and magazines, live rounds along with that. The 21 Maoists were apprehended after the CRPF and Chhattisgarh police recently launched large-scale search operations in the Karigutta Hills along the Chhattisgarh-Telangana border. Indonesia has raised the alert level of Mount Laki volcano in Flores Island to the highest level after it erupted 8 times over the weekend. A thick plume of smoke of about 3 kilometers and 5.5 kilometers was seen rising from the volcano on the 18th of May. The authorities have warned the residents in a 6 kilometer radius for risk of cold lava flow from the crater in the case of heavy rainfall, urging them to clear the area. Last month, the volcano shot dark ash 8 kilometers into the sky, forcing evaluations and cancelling at least 7 international flights from the resort island of Bali. Residents of the southern US town of London in Kentucky continue to sift through rubble after a series of deadly tornadoes ravaged their homes. Severe storms swept through the US states of Missouri, Kentucky and Virginia that left more than 25 people dead, laying waste to local communities and cutting off electricity to nearly 200,000 people. Officials described the devastation as a mass casualty event. The drone footage published by local media showed the scale of the devastation, with houses leveled and tree trunks standing bare. 5 counties have declared a state of emergency in the aftermath of the calamity. The India Meteorological Department issued a weather warning for heavy to very heavy rainfall across several regions in India. The west coast, including Karnataka, Konkan, Goa, Kerala and adjoining regions. Parts of peninsular India are expected to witness intense showers from the 18th to the 24th of this month. According to the IMD release, heavy to very heavy rainfall accompanied by thunderstorms and lightning is likely to occur in northeast India, sub-Himalayan West Bengal and Sikkim over the next 5 to 6 days. In Delhi, the weather will be partly cloudy and with very light to light rain, accompanied by thunderstorms, lightning and gusty winds reaching speeds of 30 to 40 kilometers per hour. And the US dollar dipped to a 1-week low versus the safe haven yen as markets digested a surprise downgrade of the US government's credit rating and as trade friction concerns weighed on sentiment. Australia's dollar turned higher following 3 days of declines ahead of Tuesday's Reserve Bank of Australia policy announcement, with a quarter-point cut widely expected. US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said in a television interview on Sunday that President Donald Trump will impose tariffs at the rate he threatened last month on trading partners that do not negotiate in good faith. Oil prices were little changed in early trade, with investors eyeing the outcome of Iran-US nuclear talks and key economic data due from China to assess the impact on its commodities demand following trade tensions with the United States. Brent crude futures edged down to trade around $65 a barrel, while US oil was around $62 a barrel. Both contracts rose more than 1% last week after the US and China, the world's 2 biggest economies and oil consumers, agreed to a 90-day pause on their trade, during which both sides would sharply lower trade tariffs. China's factory output slowed in April but showed surprising resilience, a sign that government support measures may have cushioned the impact of a trade war with the US that threatens to derail momentum in the world's second largest economy. Experts said China's foreign trade had overcome difficulties and maintained steady growth, demonstrating strong resilience and international competitiveness. But economists have warned that the short-term truce and US President Donald Trump's unpredictable approach will continue to cast a shadow over China's export-driven economy, which still faces 30% tariffs on top of existing duties. Nvidia launched a new version of its NVLink tech called NVLink Fusion that it will sell to other chip designers to help build powerful custom AI systems with multiple chips linked together. Experts say Nvidia has grown beyond its roots as a video game graphics chip maker into the dominant producer of chips that have powered the AI frenzy that has gripped the tech industry since ChatGPT's launch in 2022. During the company's annual developer conference in March, Huang outlined how Nvidia would position itself to address the shift in computing needs from building large AI models to running applications based on them.